Hi guys, welcome back to another video of what's flowering inside my indoor garden, this time for the month of April and May. And before I start, just to let you know, it's been quite a different spring around here. It was quite cold, rainy, so I have lots of Phalaenopsis that decide to spike again because the weather, the temperature dropped, and it's still pretty cloudy around here in the UK. But I do have some blooms to show you. Despite all the pests and the treatment, I managed to have some flowers. Most of them are Phalaenopsis. So let's dive in straight to the Phalaenopsis realm, and then I'll show you the only two other orchids that were not Phalaenopsis and that I think it's worth showing you. To start, let's go with my polychilous type of Phalaenopsis that, if you don't know, these ones are a little bit different from the ones that we find locally in flower shops and supermarkets, because they are not like the Schilleriana hybrids that will bloom, usually speaking, when the temperature drops, and then they will produce long flower spikes full of flowers. This one, usually they have shorter flower spike, the petals and sepals are a little bit thicker, and usually you can see a shine tone to the leaves, so they are quite vibrant, and that's all. But apart from that, you should offer the same care that you offer to all of your Phalaenopsis, and the only difference is that some of these will bloom when the temperature gets warmer, and they can bloom all over the year if you live in a warm country, different from the other Phalaenopsis that usually needs a drop down in temperature to be able to rebloom, with certain individuals being a little bit easier, others a little bit more difficult. But let's stop talking about Phalaenopsis culture, and I'm gonna show you all of the beauties that I have. And I want to start with the queen of the house, the one with the best fragrance. It's my beautiful Phalaenopsis Barrina. This one's a classic. Lots of orchid enthusiastic and orchid collectors own this orchid because of its fragrance. It's also a species that you can find in Asia. It produces short flower spikes, but although you're not seeing the most amazing bloom show in the sense of quantity, it's quite perfumey, and when you come close to it, you feel this floral fragrance I adore. It's one of my favorite species of Phalaenopsis, so it will always be in my collection. This is a very healthy individual. You can see, looking into the leaves, how bright these leaves are. They are naturally like that. They are round shaped as well. But although the flower spikes are short, these Phalaenopsis can get pretty large actually. I wasn't expecting it, but the leaves are larger than my palms. Just to let you know. You need a little bit of space to this one. So moving on to the next one, I have here my beautiful Phalaenopsis Linden Mix Zebra 709, and this one is a complex hybrid, and this time around it pushed out so many spikes and I had so many blooms. I lost some when I recorded this video because I was being a little bit lazy to film the flowers. What I adore on these flowers specifically, again, is the fragrance. It's, for me, not only floral but fruity and fresh. I have scent sensitivity, and this one I won't get sick. It's very light, but it's something I don't know how to explain. Something that's like mouth-watering, so it is adorable. The flowers, they are super pink with some dots, some white sparkles around. And in my opinion, these plants, this hybrid specifically, because it is a hybrid, will always bloom for me around springtime. I don't know if it's become a little bit lighter or the temperature increase a little bit. I know that we will usually induce this plant to bloom. So that's the time of the year that I have this gorgeous plant full of flowers, and I can't wait to see how it will rebloom next year, especially thinking about the fragrance and how gorgeous the flowers are. Next one, a plant that I showed you in one of my shorts, and I think I recorded a highlight for you. This is my Phalaenopsis tetrasps C2, the variety C2. I had a tetrasps before. I lost it. It got attacked by pests and didn't survive for long, but it managed to bloom for me, and all the flowers were white. In this case specifically, I was seeing some pictures online that was showing the C2 having some red and white petals and sepals. However, mine bloomed and is completely white again. For any reason, all of the tetrasps that I've seen bloom, they are all white, but maybe they can change. I have no idea. I don't have a vast experience with this one. The tetrasps is also a species, and I wouldn't say that it's very fragrant. You need to actually sniff the flower, and for me, the fragrance, it smells like grass. That's how I would describe it. It pushed out a sequence of 6 flowers, if I'm not mistaken. It's quite cute. This plant's very young. It's the first time that's blooming for me. And something that's cute about the tetrasps, although the flowers are all white, which I'm happy with because they are so elegant, they have this kind of hairy lip, and this frilly hairy lip is very, very cute. And if you want to spot tetrasps hybrids out there, look at the lips. If the lips are hairy, there are chances that this could be one of the tetrasps hybrids. I'm so excited to have this one in bloom finally, and it managed to push out so many roots. It's such a healthy individual as well, and I can't wait to grow it even larger. Still on the realm of my darling Polychilus, I have here the next one is my Phalaenopsis Giajo Blueberry crossed with Violacea indigo. So this one is a Violacea hybrid, and as a Violacea hybrid, I noticed that you can actually see some similarities among its flowers. I have another Violacea hybrid, and the flower shape is very, very similar to this one, but the color is completely different. Also, the fragrance is floral, but it's a little bit spicier than the Barrina. They are different. What I really enjoy about this one specifically are the color of the flowers. They are purple, but it's that cool tone of purple that some people think it looks like blue. They are not blue. There is no blue orchid, at least that I know of. However, this tone of purple is gorgeous, and the lip is also purple, and it's a dark purple. So this plant is capable of pushing out so many flower spikes and so many dark purple blooms that it's one of these hybrids I think I'm super, super lucky to have. On top of that, it is so healthy. I don't know if you can see here, but look at the amount of roots that this plant has, and maybe it's seated on this pot. It's there for maybe a year or so and has zero space. So it's a super large Phalaenopsis. It grows a lot and pretty quickly, but I'm not complaining because I love these flowers. So it can grow and grow and grow, and I'm not gonna regret it, and I'm not gonna get rid of these from my collection because I love it. I think I'm gonna say that I love all of them here, but I do adore most of them, and some of them a little bit more than others, but that's normal, right? But from this list, yeah, I love all of them. Anyway, so this is my cute purple / blue Phalaenopsis. Let's go to the next one. So the next one is one that I've recorded a highlight as well. I don't have its ID, so this one is a no ID. That I call it Phalaenopsis Chia-Lung Black Parrot Yaphon. But just to be honest, I don't know the ID of this plant, so this is just something that I use to, let's say, name my Phalaenopsis while it's sitting on my shelving. I found one picture on the internet that looks like this one, and that was the name. That was the reason, but I don't think that's the real name. I will probably never discover without a proper DNA test. Taking this out of the way, this plant is a Phalaenopsis that I saved. I bought in a garden center in the UK, I think near Cambridge. It had some issues, which was not growing. I think it had root rot a long time ago. I created a high humidity chamber and I was able to save 2 plants. From the mother plant, it pushed out a keiki, the cake grew, and it's a super healthy plant now. And it's very tiny, very young, and managed to push out a flower spike for the first time since I saved it. And because I saved it, it's gonna be always super dear to me. And not only that, but from the Phalaenopsis that we usually find locally, this one has a beautiful color. It's like red and yellow, and it might have some tone of purple near the lip, I don't know. But actually it's much more like a dark red and yellow than anything else. And the petals and sepals are very waxy as well. It is a super complex hybrid. It pushes out a flower spike during the cooler months. And yeah, it's gorgeous, beautiful. I can't wait to see these plants to grow even more. And also I love the grayish tint to the leaves. It's something that adds a little bit like a special feeling to this plant. So yeah, super lovely Phalaenopsis. Now I am going to the complex hybrids that I found locally in supermarkets. So I have, before that, I'm really sorry I forgot one. My Phalaenopsis mini mark in full bloom. This one has some sort of disease. I don't know what's happening with it. The flower spike's gone, didn't push any cake for me. I've already cut it because it became completely dry. But as a plant, it produced such a cute flower spike. This one is a complex hybrid, but I've never seen it for sale in flower shops or supermarkets. You usually have to go to orchid nurseries. It requires the same care that you offer any Phalaenopsis and will bloom during the cooler months. The cute thing about these plants specifically are the flowers, because they have this orange lip with this white background full of orange dots. It's cute, different. It's not something that you see in every flower around, especially with these colors. And I think the orange tone, it's very on top of the cake, especially because it's not such a common color that we see in Phalaenopsis. Not this tone of orange, at least. This plant has no fragrance whatsoever, and it's capable of pushing more than one flower spike, but mine is very ill at the moment. So, next one. I have a Phalaenopsis, a peloric Phalaenopsis, and that's the only one that I have in my collection. This one is a no ID. I've also created a spotlight video on this one because I love how the peloria shows on this flower. It's not the flower that I usually would go for, because it's this kind of closed type of peloria where the petals will try to mimic the lip, so it will have like the flower having like 3 different lips. And the flower that's a little bit closed up, but I don't know, this one is such like a small to medium-sized Phalaenopsis, and it's so cute, especially the white and the light purple tone mixed together on this peloria. Such a healthy individual as well, so I'm super glad. I quite enjoy this plant. It has 0 fragrance, but it's capable of pushing out so many flowers, and I can't wait to see it to grow even larger and push out more flowers next year. Next one is another no ID. I have no idea about the idea of these plants because I found all of them in supermarkets, and that they are just common hybrids that we usually see around. So if you know any of these names, let me know down below. I have this one for a while, but last year the leaves were getting smaller, the roots were not getting hydrated. Again, I had issues with pests, so this plant was not the healthiest for the last 2 years, but now finally is becoming a larger individual, pushing out larger leaves and a better flower display. This plant is capable of much more than that. And I hopefully next year have even a taller flower spike. But this year it pushed out this flower spike full of flowers, I might say. And I don't think this one is a small Phalaenopsis. It goes more towards the medium to large size of the Phalaenopsis. It pushed out this super tall flower spike with pink flowers. They are all striped. So these have like these lines on petals and sepals. It's just a pink Phalaenopsis, pretty popular, but push out a beautiful spike, and the display is gorgeous. If you see it around and you enjoy pink Phalaenopsis, go for it because it's definitely beautiful. And the fact that it's striped, it does add some value to the flower as well. I think all the flowers have its value. They are all beautiful. But this one, I know the next time that I will see it in bloom, it will push even a taller flower spike because better we care for them, they can reward us with more flowers and putting out a better show as well. So that's what I'm aiming for this year. And this show, this Phalaenopsis put while I was spraying it for pests. So I'm so glad that I can at least show you this plant this time. Anyway, let's go to the next one. This is not fragrant, by the way. So the next one is another no ID, pretty common as well. It's a purple Phalaenopsis, but a different tone of purple. This one is like a darker purple with white, and it's like full of large dots, kinda like a Dalmatian dog, I would say, but kind of not. The thing with this plant is capable of pushing out so many flowers if you look after it properly. However, because of the treatment for pests 2 years ago, I think, I crown wrought the mother plant, and the mother plant pushed out a keiki. So this is the keiki that's blooming for me now. But again, this plant's not fully matured yet. So although push out beautiful flowers and I have a beautiful display, this is one of these Phalaenopsis, medium-sized Phalaenopsis, that can create so many blooms and put out quite a extraordinary, beautiful bloom show for you. And usually it's pretty easy one for you to find it around supermarkets, garden centers. Just walk and you might see it for sale because it's not a rare Phalaenopsis in any sense. None of these are, but these are more available locally, I think. And it has no fragrance as well. So now that we covered all the Phalaenopsis, I have only 2 more orchids for you because I could not live without showing you. First of all, my beautiful orange Oncidium No ID. This one is such a reliable bloomer. It blooms for me many times a year. It has no fragrance, but will put out a super tall spike full of tiny orange blooms. They are not exactly orange. I think it's more like brownish and white. But when you look from far, you can see some orange in there as well. And the amazing thing about these plants, not only that's a pretty easy Oncidium to grow, that's a plus, but also the fact that we'll push out so many flowers. If this plant is healthy, you have to have the space for it because it's not only a massive plant, massive suitable, super long leaves, massive flower spikes as well, and many orange flowers, a cluster of Oncidium flowers. It has no fragrance, but the flower show will make up for it. And following, the last but not least, it's my Tolumnia. Gyrac Rainbow. I've shown you this one before, but why I'm showing you the same plant again, I usually try to skip the ones that I showed you in the previous month. I'm doing that with some plants like Macatacetum rebloomed, but I'm not showing you it again. This one is reblooming in a secondary spike. Tolumnias, they are like Phalaenopsis in this sense. They are able to keep blooming and reblooming on the same spike. So all of these beautiful cluster of red flowers are secondary flowers. So they came all around the flower spike. So the flower spike starts pushing out, branching out, and producing buds. So this plant is in bloom now for me, maybe for 3 months, which is amazing. So Tolumnias, although they are super tiny, they are capable of blooming for a long period of time. So just to let you know, if you are considering to have some other plants that can be as reliable as Phalaenopsis, maybe Tolumnia is an option for you. And I want to show you this on this video, and that's everything. I think today was a little bit shorter. Let's see how it's gonna be the next month, the next 2 months, but I will keep you updated with my orchids. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot to have you here, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.